Look at this guy. A guy in a Slayer t-shirt. Trying to play Jeff Beck. What was he thinking? Look at his concentration. Hair in his face. Dishevelled. Trying to play like Jeff Beck. What was he thinking? He's probably used that whammy bar 30 times in his life. He doesn't touch Fender whammy bars. This ain't a Floyd Rose, bitch. Is that? He's cut his finger and he's wearing plaster. Or a band-aid, as they say in the USA. They also say failure, loser. The comments, the comments. That sounds nothing like Jeff Beck. How is it that this man cannot play like Jeff Beck, the greatest guitarist that's ever lived, the guitarist's guitarist? I don't understand, YouTube. Why would you think I could do this? But we have each other. And a stupid Slayer t-shirt. Forever.com/org. Join my Patreon. Seriously, I'm broke. I'm broke, bitch! So this one, welcome to Circle of Tone, by the way. So what does Jeff Beck do when he rocks out? Really, really simple and complicated at the same time. He's generally a Marshall guy. So not a specific type of Marshall. I guess if you pinpoint one, it should be the JTM. You know, he kind of likes the 50 waters too. You know, he generally uses things like a Klon boost now and then. And also he used, greenback speakers in the past. And also his name is all over the Celestion Creambacks, the new reissues, the 75 waters. So that's what I use on this. And still, I don't hear it, but a lot of it, the reason I don't hear it is because it's technique. I cannot play with my fingers. I certainly can't play with my thumb like he does, because it's all in the thumb, bitch. But I do know a little bit about the way that he manipulates his tone. And so we'll get into that. You know, Marshall, Strat, or Les Paul for some of his stuff, and a decent boost, and vintage-ish speaker, and you should be there without the talent. He does this crazy stuff where he uses his whammy bar a lot. So let's talk about his whammy bar first of all. You could, even when he's playing rhythm, you can often see him with his finger on the whammy bar. He's so used to having it in his hand that he just wants to mess with it constantly. And a lot of his slide playing that I thought was an actual slide is him bending riffs and manipulating his whammy bar at the same time, which on a Fender goes both ways. It can go up a few steps. And so that is like kind of like a floating trem in that respect. It's not the classic Strat, which is only down. He can go up a little bit. And I could only go down on mine. I was going to set it up. I did have it set up way too heavy to start with. So you need to get his tone. You don't need like five springs inside the cavity that are really making it hard to do dive bombs. That has to be pretty loosey-goosey, but set up perfectly. So I have pictures here of me oiling the nut, oiling the string tees, oiling this, because if you do that, it helps with your tuning. He had things like roller nuts and roller string tees, things like that, which is essentially, it's not so much a tonal plus, because they kind of sound bad in my opinion, but in the right hands and live, you can play an entire set and it will only go out of tune a little tiny bit. So that's part of the reasoning. Most of his, I'd say 90% of his tone comes from playing live at volume. I don't think he cranks it as much as he used to, because I think he has tinnitus like me. We have something in common, finally, me and Jeff Beck. It's pretty funny watching me toil over this one with the playing technique type of things, trying to play in the style of. Before you say I'm not playing exactly like him, I will punch you in the face, because what do you expect from me? You expect me to have a vintage 60s Strat? You expect me to play like Jeff Beck? Fuck off. So yeah, I struggle, but we can talk about his techniques. And his techniques come about, I can't turn this on because it'll feed back like crazy, because it'll come through the speakers and my mic is right there. So let's take the slide technique that he uses. If I do, I'll boost this a little bit. We can turn that, if we bend every single note that we're holding on those three strings, it starts to sound a little bit more slidey. And then if you put the whammy bar in the mix as well, it's so hard. And it can go up, which makes it even more slidey, because it makes you feel as if you're going up and below the notes. You're playing it wrong. Don't come at me. And also, so his gain staging, there's the obvious ones, like a clon, a pedal. He used rats in the past. It really doesn't matter what Marshall you get. It really doesn't matter what pedal you get. It's all about the way he stages the gain. And that gain stage starts on his volume, because he can often have this thing half down, tone half down. That reduces some of the gain as well. And flipping between these 5 positions, you also get knockdowns of gain depending on what strength your pickups are and what combinations. So he can go light as a feather with everything down on volume and everything, the boost off, and then you get that beautiful dulcic, smoky, or if he turns the tone up, then he gets a little bit of chime in there, and the cleanness, because the clean of a Marshall is pretty bold. So he mellows it out a bit, you know, with the tone controls and the volume controls and the switch. So then if he needs to punch in, when you put a boost on top of that, so even though we have the volume turned down, you can put the boost on as well, so that gives you another type of a tone, and that'll actually get you a little bit more Hendrixy depending on the tone of the amount of gain that's on the pedal, because, you know, he did that a lot too, where he'd have the fuzz pedal or a boost with manipulating with the tone. It's so complex. It's, you know, it's simple on the surface, but it's so complex because he uses every single inch of the guitar, including behind the nuts. Like if you hear this, he'll he'll pick at this, he'll chunk away, he'll use every inch of his guitar he knows inside out, and that is the key to his tone. It's not so much the gear, it's the way he manipulates this. You know, good players, when they can sit with a guitar that's not even plugged into anything and it still sounds kind of good, you know. So that's what he's all about. If you have a technique that you use to capture a single coil in the modern DAW realm through a Marshall, I'd love to get your opinion on it. I don't get it. I've tried different mics, different places, different positions, far this and the rest of it, and the closest I can get are like room mics. So yeah, I guess a mix of a close mic and a room mic would be the best bet for this type of thing, but that's it. So that's my take on it, and that's the higher gain aspect of Jeff Beck. I'm not going to go into the lower stuff, but I believe because he used Marshalls for the longest time, live, he used to use the reverbs and the delays and things like that, you know, when they weren't in pedals. But sometimes he'd have them through effects going to the front of house. So a lot of the lush delays and reverbs and stuff, you know, they'd often be going through the PA, not so much the amp, because the amps can be limited. But I know he had some sort of reissue done, which was targeted at him, which had the send and return loops in the Marshalls, in the old, you know, JTM 45 style Marshalls. But like I say, don't run out and buy an old Marshall. Don't go out and buy a JTM 45 or the new reissue that's geared towards him. Really start looking at the guitar and have your amp say everything on 5, put a boost in there as well, and then start figuring out what he's doing, because he'd often do hit notes, bend them, hit the volume with his little finger running up and down like a tremolo, and hit the dive bar at the same time. It's like, what the hell is he made of? But it's just because of he's probably gigging right now as we speak. He's probably on stage somewhere right now doing it for the 1,000th, probably 10,000th time, you know. So that's it. And if you want to hear some good music, check out his old stuff where he used to win with Rod Stewart singing. Oh my God, that is some rock and roll. I don't think it's a big stretch to say that Jeff Beck is one of the inventors of rock and roll. Haley and the Comets and things like that but he took it, you know, and that's what it's all about, passing off the torch. There hasn't been a lot of torch passing recently. There's been a lot of torch copy and pasting, but, you know, that's a video for another time. And thanks to my new patrons of Tone. We have Lyndon H. Very thanks for that, man. That was a generous donation. Also, we have Christian H. We have Phil C. and Michael P. Michael PC. Politically correct he is. So thanks, guys. You guys really help out the channel. I mean, it's no secret that this channel struggles, but it really helps, and it gives me a little bit of a boost for the future. Maybe I'll keep this thing going if I get enough. I don't want to flog things. I don't want to hawk gear. I just want to play and share information and that type of thing, honestly. But so if I can generate enough money just to keep this going that way, then I think it'll be good for all of us, because it's a good community. Because speaking of community, check out search Circle of Tone in Facebook, and with loads of great information there. Recently, the last time on Circle of Tone Facebook group, we were talking about a cog in the chain of early Eddie Van Halen, which hasn't really been seen before to my knowledge, and this is the real deal. We're talking Jose levels of real deal. So check it out and say hi, share your music, and tell us how you captured it and all that type of stuff. And it's a good community, good bunch of chaps there, as we say in the UK, even though I'm in Florida. All right, people, you've been awesome, and please subscribe, like, share, scratch my back, and tell me that I'm playing it wrong. I fucking dare you.